Hey guys, Dave Coshrell, CoFit Personal Training here, and as it's National Eating Disorder Awareness Week, I wanted to share a little bit with you guys about my own history with eating disorders. I think technically my own eating disorder is classed as a form of non-purge bulimia. People think of bulimia and think of throwing up or using laxatives or whatnot to purge the food from your system, but there is another type of bulimia called non-purge bulimia, which is where you actually don't remove the food from your system, and that is what I suffered from, and to a degree still suffer from sometimes on my harder days. And what it means is that I would go through periods of completely and utterly depriving myself of food in a sort of, I'm not sure, control or a way of punishment, for the fact that I thought I wasn't good enough. I thought that I wasn't worthy. I thought that it was a painful experience, and in a way for me, that level of control was even though it felt like control and me being in control, it was a form of self-harm, and it would definitely be a punishment that I would levy on myself. And then, needless to say, if we deprive ourselves of things for too long, the opposite ends up being true. We crave them. Our willpower can only last so long, and then the next thing you know, we have a binge. I would eat entire boxes of cereal, packs of donuts. I used to drink big 2-litre bottles of cherry tango or lemon tango, and maybe even two of them a night. I'd have a big sharing bag of something that I used to, people used to joke that I'd go have this big Berghaus jacket that had these inner pockets, and I could get like loads of food into the cinema, and it wasn't like to share with anyone, it was just to sit there and eat to myself, and I just never really knew how to stop. This has led to, even now, when I understand my nutrition, my body's needs, the psychology behind all of this, I still have an overwhelmingly huge appetite, because I taught myself to have a big appetite by the fact that this wasn't food feeding myself for satisfaction. This was feeding myself to fill a hole, to fill a void, to fill another emptiness that was in my life, that I was using food as a crutch. Food tastes amazing. It gives us a serotonin hit. It plays on all of those sort of addiction sides of our brain. It gives us that thing that we crave that I just wasn't getting from anywhere else in my life. I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have a drive. And I think for anyone who's ever had an eating disorder, it can be something that you live with and follows you your whole life. It's just under different degrees of control. So there are still shadows of that remain now. If I have a bad day now, sometimes it's not a case of I don't eat because I don't feel like eating. It's still a case of I don't eat because I still, to a degree, want to punish myself for how I'm feeling. And this is now, even when I understand what I'm going through, a whole lot more. But this all sounds very doom and gloom until this point, but I want to say to anyone out there with one, there is hope. There is ways that things can be better. And it's not this black or white thing. It's not I have an eating disorder and now I don't. It's making the good days more frequently. It's making the bad days less frequent. It's understanding the triggers, understanding the things that lead you down that path, because the food itself isn't really the problem. It's our self-image, our level of love for ourselves, our understanding of our body and its needs, our acceptance of ourselves as we are. All of these things, the more in depth we can get with those, the more we can learn to love ourselves, the more we can learn to nourish ourselves and to try and make ourselves better, then the fewer those bad days are going to be, and the more frequent those good days are going to be. It's about learning other habits, scratching that itch in another way. You know, that might be for you helping somebody else, being accountable, having someone else be accountable to you, buddying up with someone. That could be, you know, helping them when they're having a dark day, could scratch that itch that you're trying to hit with food. You know, it could be anything. You know, it could be getting involved in a sport, could be getting involved in a new business venture. It's about finding something else that makes you feel complete without needing to try and fill that hole with food. So I'm going to leave it there. There is always hope. There is always a way to make progress, and there is always another choice. And yeah, I hope this week, with a lot of people sharing their stories about eating disorders, that if you've got one yourself, you realise that you're not alone. There are many, many, many of us out here. And, you know, there is a silver lining to that cloud. So thanks for watching. And if, you know, if this touches you, maybe share your story too, because you could be the reason someone else seeks help or tries to be better, and that is extremely noble.